Was that just regular pay for the men, or did they get
We haven't-
overtime?
No overtime whatsoever on that. Yeah, it's regular pay.
Okay, thank you.
So I don't know if you guys wanted to keep looking at these
Yeah.
streets.
Yes.
So this was going down Woodlawn right here. I'm sorry, the pictures are bad. So this
No,
is
they're
the
fine.
tie-in. This is going up Woodlawn on the section that we have not done yet. They redid this ribbon right here also. This is where they called it Lake Woodlawn. I mean, it held water forever. And they've got it drained off. It's really good. They did a fantastic job on that.
That's that dip in the
Yes,
road.
ma'am.
Is that going to be fixed, or is it going to stay that way?
This is going to stay like this, but the road is going to come up to it right here. And it's
Okay.
just going to be smooth. You have to have that to cut across because there's no drains. This whole section drains off to Twin City into 32nd Street. That's another thing too. There's some long areas. Typically on these, they would have more drains in there and their underground drainage to go out.
Yeah.
But this was not designed that way. So, and then, of course, this is down Woodlawn going towards Twin City right there. Okay.
So the other end of Woodlawn, the curves will be next year,
We're hoping so, yes. Yeah, finish Woodlawn out.
and that'll finish that whole section finally for those people.
Yes, sir.
Good.
So we'll go to Bay. So this was Bay. It's a smoother transition right here. We didn't have to take as much off of this road. But they look amazing.
Yeah, it looks good out
Curves are
there.
great.
Yeah, they did a really good job tying in these boxes. See, these are the boxes at the end of the roads that collect the water that go out to Twin City.
On the concrete approach,
Mm-hmm.
what were we, what was the average width of that? I know it was either a single or double driveway, but
I don't
5 feet,
have-
6 feet?
You talking about the from the curb to the
Right, to their
this section
existing
right here?
concrete?
Yeah, I couldn't even give you a number on
But
that.
that was, isn't that a courtesy that we do when we do those things?
That was bid in the job.
That was bid in the job, okay.
Yeah, but you can see this
What
one.
would we do when we have to tear up culverts?
Whenever we have blacktop, okay, or we have to put in new culverts, the city will go back in with asphalt
Oh,
or
okay.
cold mix,
Right.
and we'll make a transition.
Okay. I knew there was something we did.
But that was a fresh gravel right there. Just want to get that picture in there, show you about how far they did. This was probably a little bit further. They went up to the expansion joint right there instead of cutting it halfway.
Fine. That's good. Because that was in the bid package. Okay. They did a great job.
Yeah, they did.
It looks good.
Along with all those new curves was great.
Woodlawn, there we go. This was the other section of it. So you can see how much further down it was. They took about 4 inches off of this to drop it down further to get that water off of there. So we're going to have to, when we recycle this, we're going to have to shave this down. It's going to be cut a little bit lower than the road is. The center of the road should be very close to the same. We're just going to have a steeper slope on that. They've tied this in since I took this picture. They're done over there. We did a walkthrough and it's just great. Okay. And this is why we picked these roads, because I mean you can't have that kind of a transition right there. You don't scrape the cars. And so we had. I showed you high. I showed you. Okay, so north. This is a small street, but it connects Ruby to Charles and then to Graves and all that. There's this is just a little connector between these two, but it's. You can see this is another reason why we picked this. Alligator cracking. This is where we have problems with water seeping through there to the base, and it gets up underneath there, and it just destroys the street. So, and you can see all these patches that we've had. And this is Graves. And alligator cracking over here. And this, you can't see it. I know that the mayor, whenever he was with us, you could feel that dip right there. It literally, it's where the trucks drive, and like what do you call it, a trench was there before, you know, and it's settled even since they packed it a long time ago. Okay. I know I'm boring you guys, I'm sorry, but we did Clinton, Willow, same thing. I mean, they all looked about the same. You can see there's potholes all up and down this road right here. Even where you could see this is the oil truck, these lines in it, that's where the oil had actually connected to it stuck to the rock, and then that's actually even separated. I mean, they're perfectly straight lines going down the road. See this right here? And all these little potholes, brand new houses over here. All these pieces right here, you'll feel them dips. That's whenever we have to cross over with a water line or a sewer line, brand new, or an old tap or something like that. We have to cut across, and that's where you'll feel them dips in them roads. And this is a total reconstruct, so we'll take those out.
Well, you said those all lines were in there, that there was a concentrate of oil in there, you said?
Well, the sprayers, our machine is so old. I think when we did this one, sometimes the sprayers will get stopped up and they don't overlap like they should, and so they'll collect, and that's why we use the counting.
Is it fixed now?
Sorry,
Is it fixed now?
that's what we use the counting on that to
Okay.
use their distributor, so we don't have the problems like we do with ours.
Okay.
McKinley, wait, let's see, let me do, this is north, 25th Street. That's the one that was underwater. If you look at it, it really doesn't look that bad. There's a lot of, there's some potholes in it, and you'll see them, but compared to the other ones, it doesn't look as bad. But this was the road that was underwater, 2 foot underwater for 2 or 3 days. And you can see this dip right here when you drive down it. You can definitely feel it. It doesn't look that, just
You feel it when you drive it.
when you drive it, you can feel it. You got this crossing right here for that apartment complex. That has come apart. And then this right here on this side, it's a pretty good dip too. So this is going to be another total reconstruct. Now I was going to show you an example. I didn't take pictures of all the streets we're doing, but McKinley, this is coming from 39th Street, going towards Madison. You can see a couple potholes here, little small ones. They're not really that big of a dip in them, but at the intersections is where they kind of got bad. And we'll level these up, and this is one that we'll do
Chip seal?
what's it called? Chip seal over top of it, yeah.
Hey,
Seal
Troy,
coat.
and question just came to my mind again. In the so-called off-season of street repairs, have we ever considered doing the approaches, going around town and finding the bad approaches and redoing? Or is that a possible thing to do?
It is, but we'd have to do them with either asphalt or the.
Yeah, asphalt, that's what I'm talking about.
It's just expensive, and I know we have the patch that we use. It's a very good patch, and we could do this too here, but we knew this one was going to be on this list.
Where you,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of them throughout the city I've been noticing.
Yeah, you guys give me some areas. You send me an email or something, and I can start checking them out a little bit better. But I mean, it's the same thing all the way down the street. There's a few little potholes. This one's got a really good base on it. It's just these little pots come up, and before it gets too bad, we want to go ahead and get the chip seal on top of it. So you saw the list. So we had for the level up to chip seals, it was Cleveland, Hagaboom. Hagaboom, we're going from 347 to Wilson, but I have it on that map that it goes all the way out to 366. If we have enough time and we have enough money left over at the end of the budget, we'll go ahead and finish that out.
And that portion is Fort Natchez, and they always send us a check for
Yeah, they
whatever
do.
we do. We charge them to do that portion.
They do, but
Milo and Henry, that's on there. Lincoln Avenue, this section right here, all the way down to Terrell, Oak Avenue, and that's it on this. I asked a lot of questions. Y'all got any more?
I wanted to ask about the ditch digging program. Is that not being done right now?
Right now, it's not. We just started a guy training him, and we started him on Dave, and the machine blew up on us. Well, the cylinder blew
Oh,
out.
no.
Yeah, and they're working on it. He's promised. He's showing some good. If you go look on Dave, you can see that the ditches he's done until It was in front of your house?
Down the street from it. Good job.
I'll drive down there and look.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's the machine that we had that we found a boom in a junkyard, and we didn't have to change anything on it, but we do have a brand new cylinder in our old boom that broke, so we're gonna exchange that out. So it's not gonna cost us anything, just some time. So as soon as that's fixed, he's gonna get back on ditching.
During the winter months, do we have the ditch digging program during the winter months? Is
That's
that-
usually what we do typically, but this year we had no operator. So-
Well, on Hoggaboon by those fields, are we doing those, are we doing those ditches, those, where the stop sign is? The stop light was put up on Hoggaboon down by the soccer fields?
Okay, we can't do on the soccer field side, and also that is Fort Natchez, Fort Arthur or Fort Natchez.
Are you
So
talking about
they're
the
the ones-
DD7 job where they're working on the concrete ditches?
Okay, yeah,
That's
Yeah,
DD7.
Yeah, DD7,
Okay.
that's right.
That's not us.
okay. Just wanted to ask. I needed to know.
Anybody else?
Any other questions for Mr. Foxworth? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Troy.
Thank you, Troy.
Thank you, Troy.
Item 5B will be receive the minutes of the March 8th, 2021 Planning and Zoning meeting. Is Don here?
I thought he did.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I believe
That's right.
wants to do a quick report.
Yeah, I'll get him. So we
There he is.
got 'em.
There's
Did we
Don.
get a copy of them?
Yes, they're listed up in the item, and we just
Okay.
received them in the record.
All right, thank you. I believe Lance B.O. also has a report for us, or Fire Chief B.O., sorry.
Mayor and council, thank you. I just wanted to give everybody, the new council, a glimpse of the fire department. And last meeting, I believe you had a report, our annual report. And I just want to give you a brief synopsis of that, tell you a little bit more about my department and what we do. The mission of the Groves Fire Department is to provide the highest level of all hazard public safety services to our community. We protect lives and property through fire suppression, emergency medical service, disaster management through public education, fire prevention, training, and service. Our core values are honor, integrity, courage, compassion, and dedication. And if you would excuse my voice, I yelled a little bit too much Friday night at the Aggie game and kind of got hoarse from it. We consist of one centrally located station. We have 3 pumpers, we call them, fire trucks. One of them is a 2005 Pierce, and the other 2 are 2012 Pierce. One carries 500 gallons of water. The 2012s carry 650 gallons of water. We have one utility pickup truck, which is a 2008 Ford F550, and a rescue truck, which is a 2011 Ford F350. We have a chief's truck and an assistant chief's truck as well. We use central dispatch for our 911 communication calls, and that is a dispatch center between all 3 cities, Needle, Port Neches, and Groves. We split the cost between the 3 cities, and they handle police and fire dispatch. We have 14 paid firefighters on staff. They work 24 hours on and 48 hours off for the 3 shift guys. We have 17 volunteer firefighters that also help us out with our calls. We use our standing operating procedures to respond to all emergency and non-emergency incidents in the city. In this report, we do have volunteers that have certifications. I wasn't able to put them in there, but next year I will advise you that of those certifications. Right now we have, I believe there's 4 or 5 volunteers that are paid firefighters in other cities. 2 of them are captains. One's a captain in Port Neches, and one of them is a captain in Port Arthur as well. And we have quite a few other volunteers that are certified through the State Firemen and Fire Marshals Association. Last year, we ran a total of 2,098 calls combined. If you take the average station in Port Arthur and the average station in Beaumont, it's about the same amount of calls. We're a pretty busy station. Now, of course, their total calls are a lot higher than ours, and they do have stations that do make more calls than we do per station, but just on average. So that gives you an idea of how busy we really are. Last year, of course, was a busy year for us. It was crazy. Everybody knows that. But we were able to take care of a lot of things in the station, in the city. As you see, we do have a breakdown of all the calls that we make. If you have any questions about or comments about them, I'll be glad to talk to you about those types of calls after the council meeting tonight. One of the things I wanted to get everybody up to speed on as well is the construction of the new fire station. It's going very well. We've had some issues with our soil on it, but right now they are just about finishing all the piers. They should be finished with all that today, and they can go on to the beams and start actually putting the slab down over the living area by the end of the month, and hopefully have the slab down for the bay area by the middle of next month. So it's coming along pretty good on that issue. Do you have any questions or comments about the fire department? Also, too, I handle emergency management. And with emergency management, that's the part where if there's disasters that come in, and emergencies are declared by the mayor. I consult with the mayor, and he's the one that can actually declare the evacuation or the declaration of emergency or the declaration of disaster. And usually the mayor, myself, and the city manager all get together on that and make the best decision for the city. And that's what we try to do in emergency management, is to get together. I know that during the storm, the winter storm, I was constantly in contact with the mayor and the city manager. And I tell you what, I couldn't do my job as the emergency management coordinator without the help of people like Mr. Troy Foxworth, Norman Reynolds, Michael Tentrip, Lamar Osley, Stephanie Gaspard, all our department heads. John Spice is another one that's been extremely vital for us, and Joey Bro down there in streets as well. They've all been instrumental in helping me adjust to this new position, and we work together great as a team this year, and I look forward to building that team even more in the future with those guys. Yes, sir.
You were saying that there was some issues with the soil
Yes, sir.
on the new station. Did that the problems that was there, did all that fall within the budget, or was there additional costs that incurred?
It was an additional cost of
It was or wasn't?
$114,000, but it's not coming out of our funds. That comes on to the construction manager at risk, his contingency. He has a $150,000 contingency in there in our contract that we have, so that comes out of his contingency. So it's really not costing us anymore, it's on him.
Okay. But there was an additional cost?
Yes, sir.
But it's not going to be anything that,
No, not having to worry about any of that for us. So we're good on that.
good.
Did the problems get solved with it?
Yes, ma'am. They've had to think outside the box, because I'll just tell you this. Yes, today I was there. We haven't had rain in, over a week here, so it was extremely dry. But they had nothing but dirt, original soil. And when the dump truck drove over it, he had ruts about like this deep in it. So what they did was they're mixing Portland cement in the soil, and that's firming it up once it dries and compacts together. So they've got a game plan for that.
That's
They're
good.
doing a very good job on it.
Yeah.
Any other questions about the fire department or emergency management? I wanted to hit on animal control as well. With animal control, we have one animal control officer, and we have one lady at the activity building that does all the dispatching for us. It's a very busy department. I know that Stephen takes a lot of criticism on Facebook, but we can't respond to calls on Facebook. The only time Stephen can respond to a call is if people call his dispatch center at the activity building. And he does a really good job getting those calls that he is made aware of. We also are glad to be able to work with Paws of Hope, who I have with me tonight, with Debbie and Cheryl and Carol. They help us when we are unable to get a dog or an animal back to the owners. due to they can't pay the fines, or they're tired of the dog and they want owner surrender the dog. We do our best to partner with them to get these animals adopted out. However, if it is deemed a dangerous dog or it has bitten somebody, we will not adopt that dog out because we don't want to take it, having a chance of it biting another animal or a person. So that's about the only time we don't try to adopt an animal out, which is pretty reasonable. We don't want to get that liability on us. But they want to put a little they have put a presentation for you, a little short presentation to talk to y'all about what they do. And before I turn it over to them, do y'all have any issues or things about questions about animal control that I can answer?
No, but I think you made a good point. If you don't call them, they can't do anything about it.
Correct. And we don't monitor Facebook at all. Fire department or animal control. If anybody has anything, they need to call us directly.
Exactly.
If they could. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chip Vio. We appreciate all you do for the city.
Yes, sir.
Have complete confidence in you.
We had passed out these to each one of y'all. I don't know if y'all got to read them yet or not. And we basically wanted to introduce ourselves to the newer council members and mayors. A lot of people, when we tell them who we are, they have no clue that they're volunteers down at the Groves Animal Shelter. So we've been doing this since 2012. And basically in our paper that we passed out, like last year, it was a slow year because of the pandemic. Well, we saved 80 dogs. Only 2 dogs were put to sleep. One had cancer, the other one was deemed dangerous. So we're saving y'all, the city, some money. And because they're not being euthanized with medicine, which I put on there, the cost of the medicine and what it costs to put them down and put them to sleep. And plus the food, they're not being fed. And a case that she had a couple weeks ago, about 18 cats, they didn't even make it to the shelter. So that saved some money there because you wouldn't have to, there's no place in the shelter for cats. So we would have to find a place to board them and feed them or euthanize them. And that's a big cost there. So, and since January, we've